Good evening from the heart of flyover country. It's time to play Without Rule of Law. I'm your master of ceremonies, Bobby Spags, here to introduce you to our undisputed, world-renowned, top-secret panel. Riverside Will. Our man in the chair, Kyle. And your host, Patrick Henry. And now it's time to play Without Rule of Law, the card game that gets you navigating the unthinkable and asks, can you brave a world beyond law? Take it away, Patrick Henry.
Good evening, Preparedness friends. Woohoo! So thank you for joining us for another exciting evening of Without Rule of Law. With me tonight, I have my ride or die, Mr. SSG Spags.
What's up, butter?
In studio, we have our one and only man in the chair, Kyle.
What's up, folks?
We got an audio loop from Kyle, but we love him. And then also in-house with us tonight is our one and only, the illustrious Riverside Will. Say hi, Will. Woo!
Hey, everybody.
Here's a story.
Hello.
Okay. So, as you guys know, this is the second ever episode of Without Rule of Law. We have a couple of special guests with us this evening. I guess we can go ahead and start bringing them in. If you guys don't mind, put your hands together and let's welcome our good friend, Gary Williams, to the studio tonight.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Gary is the owner and instructor over at Fire Defensive Skills. We've taken all kinds of kick-ass jiu-jitsu, women's self-defense, first aid, like how do you make someone bleed and then how do you help them from bleeding? Gary, tell us something about yourself.
Oh, well, I'm currently a police officer, but I've been involved in preparedness stuff and firearm stuff for approximately 25, 30 years of my life. I'm a first-degree black belt in Taekwondo. I currently am a second-degree black belt in fire combatives, which is my own system. I don't want to make myself a 10th degree master because it's kind of crazy. But if you want to learn how to kick people's ass, then hey, let me know. I'm happy to help you out. If you want to shoot people in the face, let me know. I'm happy to help you out too. Also, I just retired from the Kansas Air National Guard after 27 years in September. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you for your service, sir. We appreciate you. And Gary, I have to tell you this, or I have to ask you this for all of our viewers out there tonight. If you're a cop, you got to tell us if you're a fucking cop, man.
No.
I'm just saying. All right.
Wow. Good try, but I don't have to tell you.
That's all right. You don't have to tell. So,
Let me just say this. I have taken Gary's combat defensive shotgun course.
yes.
And it is the best shotgun course I ever took. So go to Fire Defensive Skills, go find them online, find them on Facebook, and take their courses. It will change your life. It's good stuff, and it's a good rhythm to their classes where you don't feel put upon. You don't feel like you're the little guy surrounded by, a bunch of operators. You get talked to like everyone else. You get treated like everyone else.
Yes.
Best shotgun course I ever took.
He'll teach women how to kick men in the nuts too.
Yes, but you know what? You guys just hit on something, and I'm glad you brought it up because I pride myself. Josh Holloman prides himself on we want to treat you with respect. We understand that you're still the customer, and guess what? That's what separates us from most people. These other firearms instructors want to go out there and act like they're high and mighty. Guess what, man? You just went and took some classes, and now you're teaching. You're not special. You're not some kind of superhero. You know what? I'm all about treating you the way I want to be treated, and I think that really translates into our classes. You guys noticed it. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You dudes are like one of the kind, man. We love you guys and appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
So also in studio tonight, we have another.
Oh, God, we have two guests.
We have two guests.
Oh, we have two
Get ready.
guests.
It's about to get crazy up in here. I'd like to introduce the one and only Scott Harrison.
Yeah.
Welcome, gentlemen. Glad to be here.
That's my gun dealer right there.
So just in case you guys don't know, Scott is the illustrious owner of Harrison Shooter Supply just outside of Linden, Kansas. He just moved into a pretty cool kick-ass building. It's a ginormous. You're going to love his building. It's a huge building. It's the greatest building. Everybody tells him it's the greatest building in Linden. You have to go check out his building. But anyways.
We're in Scranton now.
Scranton. He's in Scranton now. But
We're
Scott
Scrantonites.
He plays the Mandarin in the Tony Stark Iron Man movies, just in case you guys didn't know. But Scott, tell us something awesome about yourself.
Well, we've been in business here for 13 years, and we sell guns, lots of guns, and other assorted stuff. So we're pretty happy to be here, and we've been part of Midwest Preparedness Project for, 12 years. It's been about that long.
From the old days of the Kansas Prepper Expo all the way to the modern iteration of this. Yeah.
And happy to be here. Yes, Gary, thank you.
Scott,
And Gary does do a great job with fire defensive. We've taken a couple of his shotgun courses and pistol courses and AR courses. So
I think they actually do some of the FFL stuff down there too. I mean, not FFL. I mean the
Class 3.
Yeah, the Class 3 stuff. You guys also do some of the
Class 3. We handle suppressors, machine guns, whatever you like. And soon, Gary and Josh will be training on site.
There we go. I was hoping you guys would drop that one tonight. Nice. So what is Gary and Josh going to be doing down there and on site? What are they going to do? They're going to do some CCW stuff?
Yeah. So we're essentially moving our entire operation down to Harrison Shooter Supply. So we're going to make sure that we're helping him continue to be as successful as he is. He's going to be generous enough to provide us with a place to do training. So we're going to move our entire operation down there. So we're going to be running our AR classes, our pistol classes, our shotgun classes. He's going to let us drive around like wild men and hopefully shoot out of the back of the van at targets. So if you want to do slightly sketchy shit, then we're going to. Oh yeah, that's what we're going to do, Scott. Sorry about that. Yeah, he's just finding that out.
Thanks for letting me know.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I knew this was going to be a good night.
Hey, this was the best. This is the fantastic.
We kept this secret, guys. We didn't tell anybody. We didn't even tell them they were going to be on together.
I was communicating.
Yeah, I had no clue.
I didn't know.
That's what everybody says, man. It's like you guys are on the January 6th committee together or something. What the hell? Gosh.
When we're offline, I will tell you a story about me and the FBI. But until then,
wait. If you guys like look at each other and you like go like this, you can fist bump right now on the screen. No, go the other way. Go the other way.
Other way.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Keep going. Yeah. Woo!
This reverse screen is really weird.
yes,
They
it
just
is.
touched tips.
They just touched tips
Yes.
on live TV. You
Hey,
haven't seen that.
same.
You know what? Hey man, it's 2025. It's okay. Same. All right, so
Patrick, take it away, man.
let's get into tonight's shenanigans, guys. I got a really good list for you guys. I hope you're gonna have fun with this. So let's lead off. I'm gonna say let's go into the moral and ethical dilemma section of the without rule of law cards, because that's got Riverside Will written all over it, because he's very moral and he's very ethical.
Sometimes.
What was that all about?
Sometimes, on occasion.
So, Will, this is directed right at your heart, bro, because I know this one speaks to you. You're forced to choose between saving a stranger or a loved one. Who do you choose and why?
You want my answer first?
Yeah.
What you're asking for?
Yeah. You gonna save a loved one or a stranger?
Loved one.
Why? That's an easy answer, but because you love them.
You have to live with them.
Trying to run through a list of justifications is kind of irrelevant at this point. It's
totally
my
is.
loved one. You know, if you're looking at the situation where it's like your wife or somebody you don't know, right? I suppose on a moral level, it'd be very modern morals, as to say that you'll prioritize people that you know over people that you wouldn't. But overall, I'd say, I mean, there's that, yeah. But yeah, I'd have to go with loved one.
I feel you, bro. I feel you. Gary, what about you, man? You saving a loved one or a stranger?
I think that's super easy. You know, I'm saving a loved one. I don't even think twice. Number one, I have an emotional attachment. I have history with that person, a stranger. I have no attachment. I have no history with them. I have no idea what they're capable of, especially in a survival situation. At least the loved one, I know what I'm getting, and again, I have history with them, and to me, super easy. I'm picking my loved one.
Yeah. Bobby, what about you? I know what you're going to say, but tell me, what are you going to do?
How hot's the stranger?
See, I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that. Or not just that, but like, what if, like you said, you know, they're like Scott said, what if they've got a pack and they're a saw gunner, and you know they obviously look like they're Rambo, and they're like, you know, help me, bro, and I'll help you back, and you know whatever. I mean, and your loved one might be like a cousin second removed. That's like, I mean, you kind of love them. You know, I mean, there's no defining boundaries. So.
Wait, how hot's the cousin second removed?
See? Well, why does he have to be hot? Why can't he be handsome?
Why's he got to be a he?
I'm just saying, bro.
I'm here for comedic relief. Real answer is yes, loved one, absolutely. When you form a family, when you have a family, whether it's blood or even like you gentlemen, you are all my family in some way, shape, or another. I'm picking you over the stranger.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, absolutely. No matter if the stranger's hot. So all you guys, you're fine. You're safe. You're not getting kicked off the island because you have facial hair.
Scott, what are you going to do, man? You going to save a stranger, or are you going to save a loved one?
Loved one. I mean, there's no doubt. That's an easy one. You know, if I can save the loved one and help the stranger, I probably would. But it depends on what the stranger has in his pack.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Kyle, what are you going to do, man?
Loved one.
All day.
Loved one.
Same here.
Question.
All day. I'm picking you guys up, and
Yeah, but the question was you can only save one.
That's it. You can only save one.
It didn't say you could save both. Only one.
You have to choose between saving a stranger or a loved one. Yeah.
I'm gonna take the one I brought to the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna figure out how to combat roll Kyle on my shoulder.
Come on.
We're gonna get this done.
Gary, do you have a class for that?
I can make something. Yeah, no matter what. If you can think it, I can do it. So you just tell me and we'll make it happen.
We need to know how a 200-pound dude like me can combat roll a ginormous, you know, brute squad dude like Kyle.
I've done litter carries on a guy who was only 50 pounds bigger than me, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
For real.
With 4 dudes on a litter, that is hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've seen the combat roll be effective.
Yep.
You know, in most situations, but you got to have some girth on you. You can't be like a, you know, 100-pound dude combat rolling Kyle. That's
and if you're not lifting weights and taking care of your conditioning, then forget about it. Average guy's not probably going to do it. But hey, you know what? We, even as preppers, we got to make sure we're still doing what we got to still hydrate. You still got to lift weights. You still got to work on your cardio. You know, so I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, and if you're running from gunfire, having Kyle on your back's probably the best thing to do.
Damn. Damn.
Ouch.
Rolls the fence and you're walking across the acres.
Yeah. Fucking Scott said, I'm taking Kyle with me to Ukraine. That's it.
He's fighting over the fence.
Sorry, Kyle. Love you, man.
Hey, just so you guys know, Sam Russell's in the and Matt Hums, our buddies, are in the comments tonight. Sam has got a YouTube channel. Go check him out. It's just Sam Russell, the Sam Russell. Like,
I think I would take Sam.
yeah, I was gonna say. So Sam is doing, like you're talking about, Gary. Sam's doing a bunch of, you know, he's doing the PT. He's putting in the time. Like he's showing people, like, look, you're either soft and squishy, or you're gonna disappoint some people.
His channel should be called OK Boomer.
maybe, yeah.
Subtitle.
Yeah, F your algorithm.
Yep.
Yeah. But so, anyways, all right. So let's go into a little bit harder one. That one was easy.
Yeah, that was a softball, Pat.
I wanted to break the ice, you know, and again, that's why we started with, you know, that's why we started with the
Look at
easiest.
this crew. There's no ice here. Just go for it, man.
All right. Okay, so let's go with this one. This one's a little bit more as a law enforcement agent, because if you're a cop, you have to tell us you're a cop, Scott.
Yeah, Scott.
You were forced to kill another person. Damn, you just blew your cover, bro.
ATF, bro.
Okay, all right. You are ATF, man. You run paperwork. Like, anyway, so you're forced to kill someone in order to survive. How do you cope with the guilt in the aftermath of killing that person? And it doesn't define the person. It could be a man, woman, child, old man, young. It doesn't matter. But it's an innocent or semi-innocent person. But you had to kill them in order to survive. Like maybe you had to cut off their hand because you're chained together. I don't know what the context is, but you had to kill that person in order to survive. How do you deal with the guilt and the aftermath moving forward? Do you tell anybody?
Who you
Is that
asking?
directed to
Yeah,
me?
that's you, Scott. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Well, first off, if I have to kill them to survive, they're not innocent. I mean, if they're innocent, they wouldn't be in a position where I had to take their life. And in all honesty, if I had to take their life to survive, then I'm going to probably sleep a lot better tonight than I slept last night.
That's fair. That's fair.
So,
Jesus.
because obviously I've taken away a threat that was either to my survival or my family's survival.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't ever want to have to take a life, but I don't see where it would be that hard.
I understand. And you know, in that frame of mind, like you said, if you're surviving, that's exactly it, man. You're surviving. Well, what about you? What are you going to do? How are you going to handle that? You had to smoke somebody. You literally had to shoot them in the face in order to survive. Does that sit on your conscience?
Some who
Oh, Will, Riverside Will, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on, I think, the idea that Scott has of like, why is it that I had to? Because the phrase that, like, the wording of I had to makes me kind of think there was some reason behind it, and the reasoning would potentially be how I would help cope with it.
Yeah, fair.
But I mean, at the end of the day, if you have to look at it of your survival over theirs, if that's the decision you made in the moment, you have to live with it. And you have to just be okay with it, and decide that you're going to be okay with it, and carry on.
Mm-hmm.
If it was the wrong decision, then elect that you won't make the wrong decision in the future. But you can't sit on a poor decision like that and just decide that you're going to stew on it forever.
Yeah, that's fair.
A little bit less funny, sorry.
No.
But,
That's a great answer. That's a answer I would expect, Will, and I appreciate that. Thank you for that. No, thank you for the honesty.
He's a jazz prepper, man. He's so cool and calm and collected.
I was like, man, I
just wanna...
seriously. I was like, dude. All right, so Gary, what about you? You had to smoke this person in order to survive. Can you cope with that? Is that going to chew on your conscience?
You know, I talk about this often during concealed carry, and of course, during concealed carry, we're talking about somebody who is a threat to your life, and the fact that no matter what, right? I believe that a bad guy, good guy, whatever, I think you are going to have some residual effect. There's going to be some kind of PTSD that's going to follow you. Of course, it's going to depend on the degree. I feel kind of like Scott saying, with a bad guy, I don't think I lose any sleep. Somebody who is not necessarily a bad guy, I think as a human being, I do believe that it is going to affect me. I do also kind of agree with Scott too, the fact that, you know what, if it is something that is between me and them and my survival or theirs, I am going to be able to cope with that. I'm going to talk to somebody, whether it's somebody, a family member, a friend. I'm going to need to talk about it. I think again, that's only human. I think we will have to get that off our chest. But yeah, overall though, I make that decision. I survive. I go on to live another day and deal with it.
Bobby, let's say it's a middle-aged woman and you don't know the circumstances, but she's fighting you for the last can of corn to feed her kid with, and she's dead.
Oh, now you're adding stipulations.
Now this is really
Just
important.
Just
Is it cream corn? Is it cream corn though? That's the
right. I like.
You know what? It was cream corn, but start.
Is she wearing a face diaper? Is her name Karen?
Oh, I didn't ask that.
If first off, I would never fight over cream corn.
Sorry, lady, you can have it.
I'm way better prepper than that.
I'd rather die than eat cream corn.
So it's a bag of chili mac. And
cream corn is of the devil.
This is pig slop. Who eats this?
Okay, but to take the premise of the question, if I'm fighting some middle-aged woman for the last can of food, so many things had to have gone so terribly wrong in the life of a seasoned prepper, homesteader, whatever you want to call it, to get to that point that I think if you're there, the emotion almost goes numb, and in the moment you're on pure animal instinct.
You're surviving.
We're talking about a group of guys here who've been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah.
Individually, that's over 150 years collectively, or something like that. I don't know. My math.
All the years.
But
All the years.
if we're at the point where I'm fighting a middle-aged woman, if I'm like walking deading my way down the road and I go to a gas station at the same moment, this random middle-aged woman shows up and there's one can of corn and we're fighting over it, things have gone so terribly awry that I think you would almost be in a state of absolute PTSD before you even got to that gas station. You're going to be numb as shit.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be until that night when you're in bed looking at your loved ones, realizing what you did, that it's probably going to all of a sudden hit you like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
Eating your can of creamed corn.
This is why all preppers put stuff like this in their bunkers, because, well,
Everybody needs a little
self-medication, taking a hit is going to take a hit. And I know some people think that's a bad thing, but look, man, armies and navies for hundreds, if not thousands of years had rum and whiskey barrels that they took with them to war for that reason. And anyone who thinks it's just going to be a walk in the park is wrong. And anyone who thinks it's just going to be life ending is wrong. It's probably going to be somewhere right in the middle.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's a great answer. That's a fantastic
Everybody
answer.
needs a little dickle.
Everybody needs a little dickle.
Kyle, what about you?
I'm gonna shoot him in the face.
You gonna shoot her in the face?
I feel bad about it, but I'd shoot her in the face.
Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, like that's what that question brings to mind to me is the road. That question brings, the road to mind, and the scene where the dad is trying to swim out to the boat to look for medicine and the kid's left defending the cart of food, and the dude just comes up and takes it.
Yep.
Right. And in that situation, you're like, the kid doesn't have the stones to shoot the guy or whatever. And
Biden's not in office anymore, so he can't pardon him.
He probably wouldn't make it through the first few weeks of that anyway. But yeah, that's what that question brings to mind. So Linda says, war stories around the campfire, shared pain. Is pain relieve pain? It's true.
It is.
It's true. You can't let it out until you've let it out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you, Linda. Scott, your son says, "Hey, Dad, I've been trying to get a hold of you about your car's extended warranty." In the chat there, I don't know who.
Save 15% or more by switching the guy.
There it is. There it is.
just want to let you know that as a little PSA, work that out.
Dr. Wolf, call me.
We'll work something out with you there, buddy.
Yes.
Okay, guys. So moving on, let's move out of that category. We're going to go into social dynamics and leadership. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. So a small group of survivors has established a strict hierarchy, like totalitarian, you will do what I say type ruling. Where do you fit into that? And what role do you play, Kyle?
I don't fit into it.
It
Where
just
do you
says,
fit in? No.
Hierarchy?
Waterboy.
You found yourself in a situation. You got to deal with it. So you've found yourself in a small group of survivors, and they've got a strict hierarchy. Where do you fall in that?
Where do I fall in that? God, I don't know. I'm going to be a doer first and foremost.
Yep.
I'm not going to be
You gonna
someone barking orders at people. You like where am I in the hierarchy of that structure?
yeah? Where do you see yourself? You're the leader. You're the tow gunner. What are you? What are you doing?
Uh,
Are you the guy Scott makes you piggyback so you can run across the Ukrainian minefield?
probably that. Yeah. I would. I don't know. I'd probably be a servant leader. I'd probably be I'd probably be at the back of the pack, where I can do the most good and stay as far away from the leadership as possible.
That's fair. Will, what about you, man? You're in a small group, strict hierarchy. Where are you at in the pack? What's your job? What's your role?
That's all I'll ever be.
What's that?
An asshole who's too useful to get rid of, probably.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. You're the royal vizier. You're the engineer. You're
They're
the
like, oh gosh, he knows how to do that too. Oh well, I guess we can't kill him this week, huh?
The steadfast guy that has all the skills.
So you're Eugene from The Walking Dead. You're the dude that can make gunpowder. and
I'd rather
reload
not be
bullets.
Eugene. God, that guy was a little coward, dude.
I'm just saying.
There's a different
He
word
was
I
super
wanted to
useful,
use,
though.
but shoot, man.
Like there was like 3 or 4 groups that didn't murder him because of how useful he was, though.
But it was fake useful.
Yeah,
He told everybody he could find the cure.
Yeah.
And that's why they kept him alive.
Yeah.
Well, that's just what Will said. He just said, "I'm going to be so useful." I mean,
too
Right?
useful to kill. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's like I've been to kind of my boss at my work right now is like, I want to give you a promotion, but I don't know what to call it because you just do everything. And I'm like, I don't know, man.
How about just a
I just
raise? I'm
learned a
good
lot
with
of random
that.
stuff. Yeah, it's like, yeah, amen, brother. But yeah, no, in the apocalypse, I'd be the same as I am now. I'll do what I can for the group, but I would not. I mean, same as Kyle, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near leadership, dude. If they are superimposing, I don't want to be anywhere near it because I like as much freedom as I can purchase.
It just says a strict hierarchy. It doesn't say that, it's necessarily, I mean, in any things, in all things, you have some type of a pecking order. It just says there's a strict hierarchy. That's all.
Yes, Sam. Yeah. Sam's got the idea. Yeah.
Oh, Will is designated slave labor. Damn it, Will. All right. You
You
know
better
what?
check your privilege.
Whoa.
I need 5,000 rounds by tomorrow evening, Eugene. I mean, Will. What about you, Bobby? Where are you at?
I am a huge fan of hierarchies. So I think that,
Pack order?
yeah, you have to have hierarchies. Hierarchies built the West. They built the modern world.
Still run the world today.
Running things by committee is a fool's errand, as far as I'm concerned. So you have to have a hierarchy. So if you find yourself in a position where there is a strict hierarchy, one, you have to find out what you can do to be useful. Everyone said that. For me, I would see myself parking very comfortably in the realm of the counter or the parallel economy. I've always been the shop guy. I've always been the trader, the barterer, the guy who hooks people up to make a deal.
Yeah.
I would find myself absolutely becoming as important as necessary to whoever that leader was. I would do everything I could to make him successful so my family could eat that creamed corn or whatever the hell we're fighting over outside of that circumstance. Now, my military background, I was a leader. I was a platoon sergeant in charge of 40-some dudes and millions of dollars worth of stuff. And when I was younger, I thrived on that. I loved being up in front of the formation, marching people back and forth. It was awesome.
Yep.
But you quickly that fades because you realize very quickly how much it's just ego.
Yeah.
And most of that is just fluff. So if there's a strong leader, attach yourself to him, become as useful as you can, and make sure your success is directly related to their success.
You're impinged together, so
Yep.
one another, you're tied together. I like that. That's a great answer. Scott, what about you, man? How are you going to play this one out?
Oh, good Lord. Considering I've never lasted more than 9 months working for anybody outside of the Army, I'm either going to be not part of the group or sitting on top of a mountaintop with a case of scotch and a 50 BMG as security.
My man. And Scott is a scotch connoisseur, guys. Holy crap. Like the best scotch. You're going to love the scotch. If you go to Scott's store, you're going to buy something. He's going to share some scotch with you. It's going to be the greatest scotch ever.
Hey, now don't be putting that out there. That can get really expensive.
Hey, that's supposed to be a VIP thing, guy.
It's funny how the black whiskey is what brought you two together.
It's true, but it's so true.
It did.
It's so true. I love you for it, Scott. Thank you, sir. All right. So, Gary, what about you, man? How are you going to roll?
Guys, I am used to being leadership. I'm not saying that I'm thriving on it, but I mean, the fact that I run my company, I'm used to being up there delivering instruction, running stuff. I'm used to doing that in my military career. I retired as the S4 superintendent, so I was over, the firearm stuff. I was over supply, so I was used to that. When I was in Afghanistan, I was used to being in charge of all the flight line security guys. Yeah, I feel comfortable with my decision-making process. I feel comfortable pushing out the orders. So I don't shy away from it. I'm not scared of it. I welcome it. So I definitely find myself in that leadership role, and it's something that I feel comfortable doing. Yeah.
So what we're saying is, if we find ourselves on that, Gary's the commander. Yeah, Gary's the commander. Scott is the QRF. Will is going to be the scavenger. I'm going to be the PX, and Kyle is the Army Corps of Engineers. We've got this figured out, guys.
As long as Gary gets turned into the dictator.
You know what? Gary doesn't have a dictator.
But I can hit you from a distance.
Gary's got a goatee. He doesn't have like the whole. I mean, if he was rocking that beard like the Mandarin next to him, I might fear that. But like it's okay. I think Gary'd be a good leader.
Vote Gary, a face you can trust.
Yeah, I like Ike. There we go. Thank you. Matt says he'd be roaming. Hey, how you doing tonight, Rich? Matt's
Rich Melton's in the house. One of my first holsters ever came from Rich.
He's got cover 6 gear, or he did. He still does cover 6 gear.
Yeah, cover 6.
Hey,
gear.
Rich, welcome. Haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah, man. Good to see you tonight. Thanks for being in the studio.
Now with Rich, Gary, Scott in the chat and in the studio, this is the second Kansas Prepper Expo.
It's like an alumni. Look at, you guys are just gonna stand around and pat each other on the back.
This is old school, man.
I love it. Where we were at some Quonset hut, it seemed like over on
it was
46th.
called Forest Park.
Forest Park.
They do the haunted house here in Topeka. Forest Hut. It's an old.
Is that where it was?
Yeah, Forest Park here in Topeka. That's where it was.
Oh yeah.
Is that where
in the little village?
Were the ATF guys there eating lunch with us? Because Frank Hyman and
I don't know. He's talking about the Quonset Hut building in Holton, the big armory.
Yeah,
that wasn't an armory. That was the 4-H building.
Was that 4-H building?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Well, I just remember Frank Hyman and I are sitting there eating, and there's these like 3 dudes sitting right across from us, all wearing their North Face jacket, brand new boots, press
CIA
jeans. We're all like, I wonder who ATF is. You know?
Yeah, Gary, if there were cops, they had to tell you if there were cops.
They did.
Yeah, I've assumed forever that anytime we put on an event of any sort, that there's going to be 3-letter agencies showing up just to make sure that we're all on the up and up. I expect it at this point.
I bring my green card everywhere I go, man. I'm good.
That's a yellow man joke.
You see what I did there? Oh man, Gary, stop laughing. You're brown. You're gonna get deported too, bro. All right. Let's move on. Okay, so now that you've found yourself in a position of power, Gary, how do you use it? You're the leader, bro.
No problem. I mean, for me personally, especially when we're talking about the shit hit the fan type of environment. I'm not saying I'm going full on Negan, but I gravitate kind of a Rick with a bat, you know. So I'm kind of there. I mean, yeah, we gotta make sure that people understand the rules. We got to make sure, and I want to talk to them first. I'm all about conflict resolution, but if conflict resolution isn't working, you know what? We are going baseball bat, and we might not knock your eye out on the first time you mess up, but you're going to understand that we need to do it the way that I recommend that we do it.
I guess, yeah, you know. Yeah, I get it. So you're going to go old school, you know, beyond Thunderdome, 2-man enter, 1-man leaves.
It might happen. You know, of course, I welcome that. I mean, I'm okay with that. Personally.
You can't back them up.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. We're putting them in the gulag for a reason. There's hey, thank you, JW Brown. JW Brown gets it.
Hey, come on, Jeff.
So, Will, what about you, bro? You're in power now. What are you going to do, man?
I thought he was just supplying the bullets.
Yeah. What the hell, man? I was just making bullets 2 minutes ago.
You were
Come on, dude.
You're in leadership, dude. He's like, oh God. Oy vey.
If I find myself in charge of a group, the first thing I do is I try to find people who cannot lead themselves and basically fixate on them, and then the rest I just tell them to do what they should be doing. I feel like as a leader, I'd primarily just be trying to build people so that they could do their own thing.
Yeah. So you're like the Abraham Lincoln kind of leader. That's all right.
I'm sure, fine. Whatever that looks like. I don't know if I want to start a civil war, but you know.
Yeah.
You're just trying to free the people. You're just trying to lead by example. You're like, you know,
kidnapping governors in the South.
I have a lot of opinions about that. This goes into a rabbit hole quickly. I mean, he only said he wasn't going to free the slaves for the first 3/4 of the war. I mean, you know.
Top 5 worst presidents ever. Unpopular opinion.
Well, that's because he had to make himself at least look like he was very useful to the rest of the. Never mind.
What tax did he start? What was that tax that he started again?
Yeah. Scott, what about you, man? You're in charge. How are you going to handle things?
Wow.
50 cal. He said that earlier.
I think you did.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
in the house.
in all honesty, I think if I was in charge, I think we're in a world of hurt.
You're all going to die.
No, what it all comes down to is I would try to pick out people's strong points, pick out what they're strong in, and apply them to those positions, and try to make a world better for us, or at least for our group.
Nice.
Then we would just try to keep moving forward and grow in the group with like-minded individuals. That's where I would be coming from. I'd be tough but fair, but the problem is, in a situation like that, how many repeated infractions could you handle from an individual?
Yeah.
If you have one individual that keeps screwing up in the exact same way, you got a pretty big problem.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have a
pile that dude up. Then you start looking at, do you expel them from the group, or do you remove them from the group permanently?
I hear you. That's
there's a lot to think about on that front. I mean, there's a lot of things to think about.
Kyle, what about you, man? You're in charge. Don't let us die.
I won't.
Get on my back.
I lead in my career now, and I have for a while, but I do it by empowering people to be the best versions of themselves. I find their strengths, like Scott was saying, put them in positions that capitalize on those strengths for the betterment of the group.
Yeah.
And
hey, Lisa.
Anybody, and that allows, when they're in the right place, then that allows you to focus on the people who are weaker and need more coaching or more support in order to keep everything running in a straight line. But there are those fallouts where people are not doing what they're supposed to, or they're not keeping up, they're causing problems, and those have to be dealt with.
You got to be a little heavy-handed from time to time.
You got to be heavy-handed where it's appropriate.
Yeah, you bet. You can't be heavy-handed all the time. That's a great answer. Sergeant Spags, you're in charge.
Yeah. Every decision in life is an economic decision.
It is.
And if you learn what people's pain and pleasure points are in that circumstance, you will be able to lead people effectively. Mm-hmm. Cold and hungry is a great motivator. Mm-hmm. It's a tool used by every tyrant in the history of the world. And it's also a tool used by the greatest generals in the history of the world. And so if you learn how to use economics, capitalism, for those of you who don't understand what that means.
That's capitalism with a C.
If you learn how not to subsidize failure and how to reward success, you will be a successful leader. And the amount of times I think you will have to be heavy-handed will be smaller than if you subsidize failure. The minute you start encouraging people and taking care of people because, they're hungry, dang it, you're going to have a hard time with that, because the minute the heartstrings play, the minute the emotions get brought into that, you've just set yourself up to be walked on, and you will not be an effective leader. So is there a balance? Yes. And I think if you attack it from an economic standpoint very early on, if not immediately, you are going to see a lot more success.
Yeah.
Even if there's an initial pain period for the first 3 or 4 weeks while people understand what cold and hungry means.
Yeah, well, things normalize and kind of people fall into the ranks, and yeah, that's a great answer.
But are you creating a need to fill a need? Or are you making them cold?
No, I will exploit the existing need for its purpose.
Yeah. I'm not a tyrant, but I mean,
no, I will not create an artificial need to exploit people, but I will absolutely exploit existing conditions in order to get the best possible circumstances.
I love it.
So Spags, if the bat fits.
I baseball's my favorite sport. Fuck football. Just saying.
It might be an eyeball one day, it might be a suppository the next. You're just gonna have to wait and find out.
I'm not a tyrant, but
yeah, right.
Just like there's a very thin line between stupidity and bravery, there's a very thin line between successful leadership and tyranny. There just is. That's how it works. The greatest nations and the greatest empires in the world didn't get there through kindness.
Spags, the next one's for you first. Let's start with Spags. So in this line, and then we'll move to a different thread, but in this line, in your opinion, what is the most important rule to have in a post-apocalyptic society? As the leader,
Private property rights.
okay,
Everything has to be based on private property rights.
sovereignty.
Private property rights is at the basis of all free societies. You own what you own. So that means by proxy, you own your life. Murder is wrong. You own your stuff. Theft is wrong. You own your reproductive rights. Rape is wrong. So on and so forth. If you concentrate on private property rights and self-ownership, everything literally just becomes practical application.
Or it should in a hypothetical situation.
Correct.
Without Negan driving the suppositories.
Yep. And it's varying shades of gray because everyone will always war game every single thing to death.
Yes.
And you will always have detractors. But as long as you keep private property and sovereignty at the forefront, and every decision you have to make takes those things into consideration, you will at the very least be morally correct most of the time.
Self-driving, self-fulfilling. I love it.
Yep.
I love it. Kyle, what about you?
Yeah, I'm right there with Spags. It's sovereignty. The sovereignty over your decisions. You become, your responsibilities become your responsibility. So in a way to put it. But yeah, I'm right there with Spags on that. It's sovereignty matters. It's you've got to have ownership over your own life, over your own space, over the places you occupy in the world.
Yeah, your gear, etc. Jenny, yeah. Hey, Ronan, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, Ronan?
Good to see
Ronan
you.
and Reagan. Hey, kids.
Hey, guys. Gary, you're in charge. You've got a little.
Ronan.
You've got a little heavy hand there in your blood. I can feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jeff, J.W. Brown's not far off of what kind of how I feel. We need to have some kind of rule of law. We need to understand. I guess for me, when you guys are talking about that,
Coming from a cop.
guilty. But of course, Bobby's saying, he put it really eloquently. You did a good job. It's hard to really kind of up that. You really can't. What you're saying, Bobby, is absolutely 100% true. I mean, you put it really great. For me personally, yeah, the rule of law. I think theft at this point is like my number one thing that I want to deter. If we work so hard to accomplish some mission and to have, I'm going to do everything I can. You want to steal from me? You're probably, yeah, you're well, in my head and how I'm thinking, you're losing an eyeball, man. I'm busting out Lucy and Lucille, and we're gonna go to work on you. If you want to make it mine.
I thought Negan liked to take an iron to the face.
Yeah. Oh, see, I mean, that I like it too, but I'm not gonna suffer thieves. That's one that I kind of go, no. You want to steal from me in that environment? You kind of cross the line for me, because you just put not only my family in risk, but if we have a group, you put everybody's family at risk.
That's absolutely fair. That's absolutely fair.
And if you suffer a thief once, he's going to think he can do it again.
Yeah.
That's generally how it works. It's, unless you take a hand or a finger or you catch him in the mousetrap. But, Will, what about you, man?
It's hard to beat what Spag said on just private property. I think kind of the other side of that same token is absolute ownership. So it's not just that you get to own things, it's that you will own what you have, like what you do. You will own what you say,
Unless you steal from Gary.
yes, in which case you will lose your hand. It's no longer your hand. It is Gary's hand.
It's an eyeball. You're gonna John Wick a finger or something.
But
I'm gonna wear it right here.
He's gonna get a big lug in his ear and like
the other side of absolute ownership is absolute responsibility. So if you own it absolutely, then you have to own up to it absolutely. So
amen.
So you're basically saying, yes, my property is worth more to me than your life.
Yes.
Because I will say
Sometimes
that all
depends.
day.
How dare you?
Oh God, my soundboard went away. Hold on.
Hang on.
Here we go. Ready?
I think on that particular issue, it's more an issue of what exactly is that individual willing to do, and as a person walks the path of moral disintegrity, like they're willing to not do immoral things, that path doesn't necessarily have like a definitive stopping point. And so if you're looking at it like, well, my property's worth more than their life, my property has been established. You are now cognizant of it. Your actions need to be taken with that in mind.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
I'll inject something in there. Okay.
Sprinkle it in. Go ahead.
Caveat.
Okay, caveat. For anything to survive in life or live in life, something else has to die. In order for you to acquire something, you have to take it by purchase or by force or some other way from somebody else.
Gas, grass, or ass, baby.
Yes. So your sovereignty, your owning your space that you control at some point, I think it matters the way you acquire it.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely fair. Scott, what's the most important rule in a post-apocalyptic society?
It's really hard pressed to say anything that Bobby hasn't already said. I think ownership of everything around you. I mean, you kind of screwed us putting Bobby up first on that one.
Yeah,
I won't go first again
he hit
tonight, I promise.
It's okay.
He hit it straight on the head. It's all about ownership. If you're not secure in your life and your property, then we've got a major problem.
Yep.
What I've acquired over my lifetime and what Gary's acquired over his lifetime, we're in a crap hit the fan situation.
Yeah.
If we're not secure in our stuff and you feel that it's your right to liberate that stuff from us, you're getting shot in the face.
Shoot him in the face. There it is.
There it is. Ding, 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 ding,
Wow.
ding, ding,
I
ding,
mean-
ding, ding, ding. All right. You've just
Sorry,
saved
but
$3,000.
not sorry.
30-cent word.
Real quick, everybody. There's 21 folks watching. If you could all make sure you take a moment and hit the like button, help content like this beat the algorithm so that we do better than twerking cats and drug addicts.
subscribe and share it with your people.
I don't know, man. Twerking cats are pretty cool.
They are
Hey.
pretty cool.
Hey, Scott, if you don't knock that off, we're going to start twerking dressed as cats.
Ah,
Gary, what was that face? Oh, wow. Gary,
the preppers just became furries.
dang. Gary was like, I pay to see that. I buy that for $1.
Oh, man.
Furries.
He said, I'm not with you. It's all good, man. It's all good. We don't judge you here for being furry.
Don't let me go first again.
Okay, all right. So here we go. So, Gary, this one's for you because this is right up your alley, bro. No joke. So we're going to move into resource allocation and survival. You are surviving in a without rule of law world, and you catch wind that someone in your survival group has been stealing from the group supplies.
Remember, there's no law.
Yeah, without rule of law, they've been stealing from the group supplies and hoarding the resources for their own family. How do you handle this situation or deal with that person, Gary?
Well, I mean,
Damn, Daniel. That's
I'm going.
hilarious.
I'm going to give them the opportunity, right? Hey, I'm not the worst person in the world, so they're going to get an opportunity to confess, to make it right, and if they do, they get one opportunity, and if you do make it right and you own up to it, the punishment is going to be less severe. And then, yeah, after that, if you want to lie and say you don't, just like you said, you know what? There is no rules. I want to respect your property rights, but at the same time, I'm going to go through your stuff because if you are in the group and I'm in a leadership position, I'm pretty much going to do what I must. And that is, I'm going to kick your door and I'm going to go in and look and see. When I find my stuff, when I find the stuff that's been hoarded, it's going to be given back to the group, and that person is going to be severely punished.
That was the cause inside that question. That was the beauty of that question. They were hoarding the supplies and resources for their own family. So the whole family is really aware of the thing, but it's the one person.
It's the one person. Now, if in the course of the
whole family.
interrogation, what's that?
It's the whole family.
And if it turns
One
out that
person is hoarding it, the family knows Therefore, they are all complicit, and every one of them, through the example of the leader, of their father, or whoever is stealing from you, they're all stealing.
Maybe.
I'm not for punishing all of them. It's like mass punishment. Now I understand. You know what they did understand that. They did agree, okay, yeah, they knew what was going on. But if they weren't involved directly in it, even though
my only consideration would be for someone underage, a youngin that didn't know. But an adult is conscious of the effort, and if they're willing to stand by and let someone from their group inside the group, steal from you, then none of them can be trusted.
It's fair.
It's fair. Well, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I'm going to make an example of the person stealing, and that is going to be a lesson
that they'd never forget.
Oh, most likely they're not coming back. Most likely they're not coming back. So again, we've established that I don't have a tolerance for the theft. So yeah, most likely they're not coming back.
You're gonna take him to the train station.
Gary's taking him to the train station.
So essentially, Gary's going to take the dad.
I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but
Gary and the kid right in the face, beat him with the bat.
Pretty much. Pretty much. That's how you teach them lesson.
Yeah.
That's like the TikTok videos where you see the lady like beat up the teddy bear for not eating its carrots and then try to feed carrots to the kid, and the kid's like, "I love carrots." That's exactly what that is.
I think Will
get a new hobby, Patrick.
Will, what do you got? Give it to me, Will. How are you going to handle that, man?
Depends on the nature of the punishment. Depends on the nature of the punishment. Because the argument that we've laid out is like we punish the person who committed the theft. Granted, the people who are involved, the family. It depends on the nature of the punishment. Because your goal ultimately in a small group is to not have those family members be resentful of what you did, and thus drive them to do worse things or do the same thing again.
Yeah.
And punishing them in a way that they feel is unfair or that the community at large feels unfair is going to put you at a much worse position. So you have to kind of balance, like even if their kid is an adult, even if their kid's 18, you have to look at it and think like, if I punish this kid and like I punish the dad, sure, punish the kid too. Are they going to feel like this is unfair? Is that going to spurn other people to actually act and do these things going like, well, even if I don't do anything, I'll still get punished. Even if I don't, even if I'm not the thief, even if I wasn't aware of it, just if I'm tied to this person, I'm going to get punished, right? So you have to be careful with how we do punishment. And that's part of the reason why in America we have, this is kind of an it's part of how like you don't have to confess against yourself works is you don't have to confess against your spouse is an additional kind of component of that.
Sure.
You are not, that tie is difficult to navigate, and we have to be careful when we do something like that, when we're talking about how we punish the family. And like me personally, if I was looking at it, I would say if I was going to punish the family, it'd be much, much less harsh, in order to ensure that they didn't feel like they were unfairly punished for something that in actuality they didn't do. They may have been involved in, but they didn't do.
That's fair.
So Will, with the potential of any punishment being seen as too much punishment, who makes the decision on what that punishment is for the rest of the family? Does the leader make that decision, or does
the cop or the community? I'm sorry, the cop.
Oh yeah, sorry, the cop's the one telling us. the cop has told us, he cuts off hands, man. So
what do you care? What do you care? Gary's the one taking the iron to the face. Go ahead, Scott. What are you gonna do, man?
So Will, I got a question, kind of expanding on this. It's the dead of winter. Your group is low on food. Protein is what you're really hurting on.
Ooh.
Find out a family of 5, 3 adults and 2 kids have been stealing and hoarding your protein. Only the dad's been stealing it. But the wife and the oldest kid know all about it. And the kid and the children do too. What's appropriate in that situation?
I mean, in that situation, if it were up to me,
it's the same theft.
Yeah.
It's the
What I
same
would propose as the punishment is I would propose that they would all from here on in be strictly monitored, but also in charge of preparing the food for everyone else, and their rations would be halved compared to the rest of the group.
But now you can't trust them.
Well, like I said, they'd be watched, right?
And
But it's I want to force them to understand what they've done to everyone else, but I also want everyone else to understand that my goal isn't to go like, okay, this father wants his children to eat, understandable thing. You and I would likely do the same thing if we absolutely had to. If we felt that it was necessary for the survival of a child, of our child, we would likely do anything.
so
And we can't
if
look at a
you-
father who's doing what we would do and say, like, I'm going to kill you for doing what I would do. I need them to understand that what we're trying to do is necessary. And I want them to think upon the same lines as I am. So I want to get them to that point. And I think the best way to do that would be put them in the same position they put everyone else in and force that position upon them. So like I said, they prepare everyone else's food. They're getting half rations, right? And now they have to look at the food everyone else is getting and go, I don't even get that now. I only get half that, right? And granted, it sucks for them. And the kids, you might say, like, the kids get 3/4 rations so that they're not, malnourished and not going to grow properly, etc. But you're still going to have to make them understand what they did to everyone else and like why it's necessary for them to follow the rules. Because if our punishment is based
Well, how
purely
could you
upon
ever
frick you,
trust
get hurt,
that
right?
person again? If they are willing to steal from you, from the group, let's just say it's 6 people right now in here in our families in a group, Will, and I have been stealing all of your food, your protein. I'm hoarding your protein for my family, and now you discover that I've been stealing all your shit. How could you ever trust me again? How did you ever even begin to trust me? And now you punished me for providing for my family. So now in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, holy crap, what's coming next? What steps do I need to protect my family? Because now Will and Kyle and Spags and Gary, they're all watching me. They're watching my family. They cut my family down to half rations when we can't live on half rations or are barely surviving. So now we've sown dissension in the group.
Yeah, that's a spiraling, escalating, horrendous problem, which is what that question is designed to do.
But it's something you have to think about, because if somebody's willing to steal the food from your baby's mouth, what else are they willing to do? Especially if now you censor me or censor that person.
Yeah, I like it. And
What's
so
that person capable of?
Linda in the comments made a great point, and then I want to hear what Sergeant Spags' answer is. But Linda said this is very particular in terms to your leadership style, Gary. So does it make a difference if this person is the doctor in your group or the dude that takes out the trash?
I don't think it makes a difference.
Yeah, no, I think it does. It absolutely does. Right? I mean,
but if the doctor's stealing from you, what are you going to do? Chain him up and be like, okay, we now have somebody that needs help. Help him.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, I'm taking that into consideration. I mean, I know in this day and age, right now, we have to treat everybody equally. But when I'm making the rules, no, sorry, your skill set as a doctor way exceeds the guy who is just going out collecting some firewood for me. I mean, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
Yeah. Sergeant Spags?
I think you flog the father publicly and feed his family the cream corn.
Oh, how dare
Wow,
you.
2 punishments in one.
Cream corn for all the accomplices, and within 3 days they will have repented of their sins, fallen to their knees, laid prostrate before you, and they will be part of the family again.
Cream corn,
No.
cream corn.
No. You know what? You're gonna force these people to love cream corn, and that's why the lady went out to fight someone to the death for the last can of
Well,
cream
it's
corn.
all full circle, guys.
It's all Bobby's fault.
Effect.
It's the circle of life. I like Jeff Brown's answer. Jeff's got an answer. Says maybe it should be a committee. Maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe it should be either a mob mentality or maybe a council or something to that effect? I'm just saying.
Oh,
Never.
sorry, Jeff.
You need an Egan.
Sorry, Jeff, you're getting Neganed, or they're getting Neganed.
Think of it this way, man. In the old castle days, there was only one executioner.
There was.
Only one.
Yeah.
And he wore a hood, and there was a reason for that.
Yeah.
And it's because there's a burden to be kept with bearing the sword.
It is.
And the minute you put some shit to the committee, if they get it wrong, you now have 7 dudes and chicks on that committee who did it wrong. Then what?
Yeah. No, you
You have to have one pariah. There's that one dude who always lives outside the town in his little shack, and he has a black hood and a giant axe because that's his lot in life. And he knows that's his lot in life. You put it to a committee, next thing you know, you get USAID. Just saying.
Nobody's getting their head cut off at that point. We're sending money to Ukraine. How did we get here? God.
Committee is the worst thing you could ever do.
The humanity. Okay. All right. So let's move on. This one's for you, Will. So in the grand scheme of things, you're the only person in the group that knows how to fix the water filtration system. If you become incapacitated, everyone dies. Are you going to let that secret out? Do you tell anyone? Do you use that information to your advantage, and how? Oh, we just lost Will. All right. What
Nope,
happened?
he's backstages. Oh, he might be taking a break.
He said he needed a minute.
Oh, Will's out. Okay, Will's
He
going to
needed
take a
to go
break.
get some more scotch.
Yeah, so Will's going to take a break real quick. All right, let's move on to Scott. All right, Scott, you're the dude that knows how to fix the water filtration system. If you become incapacitated somehow, everyone in the group's going to die, including your loved ones that you saved over a stranger. Do you share that information with the group, or do you keep it to yourself so you're more valuable?
In all honesty, I think if any group is to remain strong, everybody needs to be somewhat versed in everybody else's job. I think if you've only got one doctor and no nurses, I think it's a big mistake. I think if you've got one guy that knows how to treat water and nobody else knows how, eventually y'all are screwed. If you've got 50 people in your group and there's only 10 that know how to pull security, eventually you're going to run into a situation where your security team is so wore out that you're no longer pulling security properly. There's a reason why the military doesn't like people on guard duty for more than 4 hours.
Yep.
After 4 hours, your eyeballs start to cross, and trees become people, and people become trees. And there's a rifle behind every blade of grass.
Amen.
There's a reason they call it 1,000-yard stare. I think everybody needs to be cross-trained. I think it's imperative. I think tough old Marine Sergeant bastard that doesn't want to do anything needs to learn how to cook a freaking loaf of bread. I think the little old granny that's cooking the loaf of bread needs to learn how to shoot a gun. Because I think what it all comes down to is everybody needs to be cross-trained. Everything.
It's cross-training, not cross-dressing. So you guys know. And what that means is like ranch dressing with like a vinaigrette. You just don't do that. It's disgusting.
Ranch is disgusting.
How dare you? How dare you?
Oh,
word,
Mom.
man. Word. Hey, Tara. Danae, I like your answer. That's a great. I think that's how you say that. Is that how you say that? Danae? Yeah, we're gonna roll with that. Okay. So, Will, back to you, my man.
Hey, baby girl.
Sorry.
Hold on. Pop that back up here. I got to see what I didn't realize my daughter was in here.
Yay! You said the other magic word tonight.
Hold on, let's see what Scott's daughter says. Hold on. Give the father enough rations to barely feed his family. If he chooses to feed his wife and children and sacrifice himself and does not get found stealing again, then you accept him back.
So she's giving him grace.
Meritocracy. You raised your daughter right.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's going to offer some grace there, Dad.
Yeah, but she's going to do it there's a carrot and a stick in that comment.
Yeah.
It forces Dad to prove self-sacrifice in order to regain the trust he lost. Well done.
Yeah, I got to admit.
Scott, you got fired. Your daughter's in charge now, bro. You're the trash dude now. Sorry. Danae, you're in charge.
You're not the doctor anymore.
Yeah, you're not the doctor anymore. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, so let's move into another Let's move it to another. Oh, actually, what about you, Kyle? You going to share that information with the water filtration?
I don't know.
You don't know if you keep that to yourself so
Yeah.
you're a little more valuable?
Maybe, maybe not.
That's one of those things that, like if you give up your little black book, right? What do you have to offer now?
There's value in that. There's value in keeping some things.
Some things.
Don't let me off the hook. I can answer this too. It's all right.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Go, Will.
Sorry,
What do
I
you got,
dropped
Will?
him out there. I'm gonna pretend like I didn't hear everyone else's answers because you wanted to catch me on that one. So
Yes. Thank you. Hey, Scanes. How you
I
doing,
would
babe?
think that given who I am and how I am, it would be almost unavoidable that it would be discovered that I am maintaining the water filter.
Yep.
I think that
Why are you making bullets?
I think that
It would take both of you to waterboard Kyle.
dude, both of us, we might need a third person, dude.
You'll try.
Well,
Fred, Bobby, and Patrick at the same time, but you're welcome to try.
You'll try.
I would choose probably two people, the person that I think is contributing the least and the person that I think is most likely to be successful at it, and I would try to train both of them.
Yep.
Those would be the two people I would most likely get a choice since.
Yeah. In the spirit of
She? Whoa, hey buddy. I'm reading Sam's comment there. Sorry.
wow. Damn. Oh no. Will just got transgendered. And
I guess, dude.
slave labor.
Yeah, no, I would
Well,
probably.
we know what Sam's going to be doing in the apocalypse.
Gosh, Sam.
Will,
Oh, yeah. Will feel
Uh,
sorry for y'all's children. They're going to come out handsome though.
This answer is just like the old guilds. This answer is just like the old guilds from the Middle Ages. You had your master, and this is where
Yeah.
primitive Freemasonry
Your
comes from,
apprenticeship.
right?
Yeah.
You have the master who knows how to do stonework.
Yep.
But then you have the entered apprentices
Yep.
and the fellow crafts and the journeymen
Yep.
who know varying degrees. And so if you're the one dude in a group of people that knows how to do water filtration and you've not trained anyone to do at least portion of that,
Yeah.
you're failing yourself, because if you get laid up in a bed, you've got to drink water too, dude.
Yeah.
And so you have failed miserably in a world of economics.
They're all going to die, and it's your fault.
Yep. So you have to ask the real question, why you're in a group where only one dude knows that shit.
Well,
What
you're
kind
the
of-
one dude.
Yeah, but
Not
what
pretending.
kind of a group would that be? I mean, are we talking? That almost seems like it's a group that's haphazardly thrown together versus an
It's
actual
a
group.
moment in time, though, too.
Yeah,
it's not like
This
if
is without
I were to
rule of
hoard
law.
The information for a time.
That's
it would not
crazy.
it would not be forever.
See, to me, it would be crazy.
Advantageous.
Yeah, it would be advantageous for the short term, but also to make sure that I'm training people up the right way.
Right. At the
You
very
don't
least,
just-
you would pick one or two people you
Yeah.
really trusted to pass the secrets on to until society rebuilt.
Exactly.
If
If
you-
you don't just vomit.
No, you don't have to
out
tell
there.
everybody, but at the same point, you can't also be so selfish as to hold it all to
I
yourself.
Absolutely.
Because,
agree.
like I said, if you end up on the bed, now you have to drink water, and who the hell is
Yeah.
going to get it for you?
If
Yeah.
it's
You know?
as easy as just vomiting the information out, for me to just have someone who could replace me, that knowledge is not that useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
it-
true too.
But if it's someone that and if it is that level of knowledge that I can just vomit it out and now you have it, take it. But if it's something that I need to train you on and you need to understand it intrinsically and you need to have the process down to a point that you could redo it the way that I can do it, and it takes that level of I need to hand select you, drag you into this and put you to it.
Mhm.
If that's the level of knowledge, then you cross training, yes, you want everyone to be somewhat level across the board on that, because I did hear that answer too. But I also don't particularly think that for any skill where I couldn't just vomit it out and have everyone be more or less capable of it, for any skill that isn't that, I need to choose someone. I need to choose maybe 2 people, 3 people, whatever.
Yeah.
And the size of the group will help determine this. But again, least useful person, grabbing him because he's not doing something else otherwise. And the person who's most likely to pick it up, grabbing him.
Yeah.
I've had this come up recently at work. There was something where there was 3 guys who knew how to do it, me and 2 others. And the 2 others had gotten pulled off to do other things, so they couldn't do these things anymore. It's I told my manager, I said, I'm going to need to choose some people. I grabbed the person who I felt I was like, you're relatively new. You don't have other things. You're relatively experienced. You can pick this up and train others. Worst case scenario, the second person will train other people if I just drop dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, this person who couldn't do other things now has a skill that they can share with others, but also be useful to the group.
Sergeant Bags.
So essentially, you're making the argument for trade guilds is greater than free college for all.
Maybe. Maybe I like old world economies and having people pass down traits one to another.
I see it as the dude that doesn't share that knowledge. He's literally the asshole in every zombie movie that gets bit and then it's like, no, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. Yeah, let's have dinner tonight. Yeah,
well, the other problem
I'm gonna come over tonight and take care of you, baby. Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna die. You gonna die.
It's literally that guy.
The other problem you run into isn't necessarily even just like, I don't want to teach other people,
Be
but
right
it's
back.
also the guy who goes like, my kids, I want them to do something more important than this work.
Yes.
And it's purely a humble consideration. I don't want them to have to do this thing that I do. And then they don't teach their kids. It doesn't get passed on. The knowledge dies. And we see that a lot. So
that's it.
Parents, teach your kids what you know. It's important.
In a world without rule of law, that's going to be exponentially more important because, again, you're not going to have all of these social structures in place to back you up. You're not going to have welfare. You're not going to have, school teachers that are normal. I mean, all of the nuances of society that we take for granted today, all of that's going to fall by the wayside. And what you're going to end up with is either someone who's ultra civil or someone who's ultra violent, which leads us into the next question.
Oh,
Gary,
shit.
this one's for you. Let's start with Gary. So as the leader of your group, you're out doing your thing. You're banging, you're mashing, you're walking around with your bat with confidence. You're kicking ass, taking names, chewing bubblegum. You're all out of bubblegum. You run into a group of strangers who are clearly hostile. How do you respond? Period.
Clearly hostile.
Clearly hostile is the wording.
Clearly hostile. Then, based on based on the limited information that I have, I am going to turn Scott loose with the 50, and
Shoot him in the face.
we are going to shoot people in the face a lot, and then we are going to go into their area and recover what items that we can recover. If they're clearly hostile, then we are going to ensure that they're no longer a threat to us or somebody else.
Yeah. I like it. Scott, what about you, man? What are you going to do?
Say it.
Yeah. You've done said everything I need to know. They are a threat. They're clearly hostile.
Clearly.
Shoot them in the face. Take their shit.
There it is. Shoot them in the face.
I came in at the right moment.
Can we shoot them in the dick? Because
you can.
This is something that I teach.
Points for creativity.
Yeah.
I teach people to shoot folks in the dick, and I even say, shoot them in the dick meat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? It's a good shot. Right?
What if their name is Richard?
Hey,
Long
shoot
takes
him
on
in
the
the
measure.
Richard. Shoot him in the Richard. That's fine.
okay.
I don't
All
care.
right. Kyle, what are you going to do, man?
Shoot him in the dick.
Kyle's going to shoot him in the dick. That's fair. I don't blame you. Bobby?
I missed the question. I was out of the room.
Okay, all right.
I was counting the cream corn of the bunker.
That's right. That's right.
Just
That's
shoot him
right.
in the dick, Bobby. That's all you got to do.
Shoot him in the dick.
Boom.
Oh, so Daniel's got a good answer, but I want to ask you this, Bobby. This is a good one. So, you, as the leader of your group, you've had a very magnanimous. I didn't say that right, but you've had a great answer for most. Listen, most things tonight. You encounter a group of strangers while you're out on patrol who are clearly hostile. How do you respond?
Well,
They're clearly hostile.
if they are clearly hostile, all you can do is shoot them in the dick.
Clearly.
Honestly, this is a situational question because if you're a lone scout and there's 40 of them, you're not shooting anyone in the
There's
dick.
the common sense.
I don't care how big you think you are, but
Thank you.
if we're talking, you and your team see you and like 3 dudes see another person and 3 dudes, and they're walking around being clearly hostile, you just take them out, man. Look, in that world, there are no cops, there's no military, there's no fire, there's no EMT. you have to remove threats. And the same way we remove the threat of wolf attacks on the plains of this country when we justifiably colonize this place, you do the same thing to the animals in the afterworld of zombies. You destroy them and you put their heads on pikes and you send a warning to the world that that shit doesn't fly here.
You spay and neuter their children?
Well, I'm not going to go after their kids are going to get assembled into the group and they will become the next generation. Just like the Romans, man. They had it right.
They get
just select
conscripted.
a bunch of liberals and you reintroduce them to color.
Oh, man, you're like 14 years ahead of me here. We haven't gotten there yet. We're still in the shoot him in the dick phase.
We're not in the Ukrainian conscription phase. We're just kind of passing through time right now. That's
No,
all right.
you have to in that world, you have to make public examples. You got to put heads on pikes at some point, and if they're clearly aggressive,
Clearly hostile.
if these are the people behind you at the ATM at 3 a.m. and you're worried about it, you put their head on a pike. Just saying.
Yes. Yes.
Beware all who tread here.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am the wrong tree to climb today.
Yeah. So in the reed and the wreath analogy, that's exactly what I would expect.
I am the reed.
So that's a great question. And that kind of leads us into the next one here. So in the grand scheme of things, a natural disaster has destroyed your home and everything you own. What skills do you have to bring with you to the new community, Scott? You lost everything, dude. All your shit is gone. Your shit is no longer your shit.
Can you repeat that question?
Yes. So everything in your home, all of your possessions are lost.
Natural disaster
Yep.
takes everything away.
Natural disaster and fire, whatever it is, right? God forbid, knock on wood. You've been conscripted into a new group. Your family has. What skills do you bring to your new community? How are you going to integrate in a world where you lost that 50 that Gary was going to borrow to shoot him in the dick with?
Well,
Start from zero, Scott. Go.
I can shoot, I can hunt, I can fish, and I can grow a hell of a garden.
Yeah, I love it. He does grow some badass peppers.
He does grow some great
And
peppers.
my family, the ladies in my family have plenty of skills as well. Most of them can garden
Whoa.
or cook, and all of them can shoot. So I didn't. Gary and Josh have trained all of my daughters except one, which is about to change. And I think we bring a lot to a group, considering we're well versed in multiple disciplines.
I like it. Great answer.
So I think the people in this world that don't at least try to learn a marketable skill in a shit hit the fan situation are the ones that are going to be left out. I think that most people should learn how to garden, how to grow food, which a lot of people think is easy that have never done it. Growing food is not easy. Raising poultry is not an easy task. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of little things that go into it.
Yep.
There's my daughter again. She's got it right. I trained her to know local plants and herbs. She knows sewing. I mean, how many people under 30 know how to use a sewing machine? How many people under 30 know how to use an actual needle and thread and fix clothing?
Yeah.
I think most people need to know the skills that we take for granted today. My shirt gets threadbare and wearing thin. I go buy another shirt. Well, if somebody knows how to mend this shirt and fix it so that I can wear it again tomorrow, then that person's going to be needed in a post-apocalyptic situation. I think we should all be able to. I think most people in this world need to become a master of one skill minimum and a jack of all trades for everything else. I think every man alive should know how to sew.
Yep.
I think we should all know how to cook. I think we should all know how to garden, and my God, we should all know how to shoot. And if we can't cover those few things and be able to prepare a meal for people and be able to shoot if we need to, and be able to grow food, then in reality, how useful are you?
Knowledge is the greatest power. That's it.
So, and that for me is the biggest thing. If you can't be multifaceted and bring more to a group than, oh, I can only treat water. We need you, but what if I got a guy that knows how to shoot and can treat water? He's way more valuable to me. Doctors. I know a couple of great doctors. There's a few attached with Midwest Preparedness that are attached to the group. They're great guys. They know how to shoot.
You bet. And sew you up.
So they can sew me up and protect me while they're sewing me up. I would rather have that guy than somebody that can just simply sew me up. I think being able to do multiple things makes someone a lot more valuable.
I like it. Kyle, what about you? What skills you bring to the table? You lost all your gear.
So I'm gonna break this up into. I'm gonna compartmentalize this a little bit. I think there's soft skills that everybody needs to know: how to communicate, how to be an effective team member, all those things. And I think there's tangible hard skills.
Mhm.
What skills you bring to the table are the hard skills.
Yep.
They're the ones that that you've spent time mastering.
Like Scott said, that one thing and then the next thing. Yeah, you bet.
Exactly. So for me, leatherworking is my jam. And by extension, tailoring. We're making clothes out of leather.
Yeah.
I can cover you from head to toe, hats, boots, and all in leather.
Kyle's the armorer.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can do that.
Yeah.
And
Getting
again,
some badass leather on.
shooting, I break that into two components as well. I see it as defensive shooting and offensive shooting.
Yes.
I think everybody needs to learn how to defensively shoot. And there are the select few who are called to be the offensive shooters, the tactical shooters, the ones that go out and see the fight. But everybody has to be able to defend themselves.
Yeah.
So I can
Pretty
compartmentalize.
offensive.
Huh?
I said
Scott,
I'm pretty offensive.
Scott said he's the offensive shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
In more ways than one. Your mama sucks. No, never mind.
You're so offensive.
I'm not going to face you anymore. You offended me.
Walk, talk, carry, shillelagh.
Yeah. Will, what about you, man? You lost all your books. You lost all your water filtration gear. Like you're down on your luck. What are you going to do? What's your skill set? What are you bringing to the new group?
I'm a
Ammo.
generalist. They said we don't got stuff, man. I don't got ammo. A generalist. I've been a generalist most of my life. I'm relatively good at mechanical items. I can repair most things. I can sew. I can cook, clean, do all that nonsense. I'm not great at gardening. I'm sorry, Scott. I've had a garden 2 years in a row now, and I've managed to kill half the stuff in there. The other half survives, but the half in there, I take the credit for that part. God did the rest.
Plants.
Yeah.
I'm
more than
real
happy to help you
proficient
out,
at
Walt.
killing some plants. Let me tell you what.
That's what Kyle said earlier. In order for something to survive,
You're
something
not
else
supposed
has
to
to die.
smoke them, Will. You're supposed to grow them.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh.
Corbin, cop.
Gardening is the growing skill. Harvesting is the killing skill.
Now that I can do.
You know how to harvest.
Y'all need to calm down with all that. You realize we're chatting with a cop tonight, right?
Oh,
Gosh. I'm just saying. He's a cool cop. He tells you he doesn't tell you if he's a cop. He only tells you right before he whips out the nightstick.
Oh yeah.
While you're handcuffed.
Stop resisting! Stop resisting! Stop resisting! Gary is like that quintessential. He's that cop in the meme that's bending, the baton in front of the crowd, and he's like, "Roar!" There it is. There it is. Please don't respect my authority. What is Daniel? Daniel's got some good stuff in
Let's
there.
see what Daniel's got.
They're going to North Carolina for the Barbara O'Neill event. Yep, holistic medicine.
Nice.
Got skills and all sorts of things. Never hurts. But yeah, you're right, Daniel. That's a great thing. Again, you're bringing a multitude of things to the table. I think if you're just bringing a singular entity or a singular answer,
Mhm.
I mean, that's easy to be the guy that only knows how to fix the water filtration. And then what are you?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to personal values and beliefs. Back to Bobby's original badass answer regarding what?
Personal property and sovereignty.
Sovereignty. Yes. So you find a religious artifact, Bobby. Does this affect you in any way? And what do you do with it in the group setting?
It does not affect me because my God commands me not to have graven images. So you can take that artifact and you can go trade it on the open market for all I care. It affects me none.
So you're going to barter off,
I will probably ignore it.
Eddie.
I will probably ignore religious artifacts because 99.999% of them are fake.
But bro, it's the Pope's foreskin.
Well, yeah, well, the Pope says that Muslims are going to go to heaven, so I don't
If
care
you
what the
had
Pope
to
says.
crawl into
So
a cave and it's sitting on a pedestal and it's gold and you try to grab it, that could be bad.
yeah.
Oh, I see where you're doing
I've
that.
seen
Yeah.
the boulder roll, man.
This is a
No,
bad movie.
look,
Unless
man.
you're really fast and you got to whip.
I am a capitalist, but I also know that my God says, "Do not turn my house into a house of mammon." And so I will not ever deal with religious artifacts. That shit is black magic, and I don't touch that.
Yeah, screw you and your golden calf. That's
Yep.
right. Good job, Bobby. Well, what about you, man? You find a religious artifact. Does it affect you? Do you turn it into the group?
Neat.
Hey, this is not bullets or water filtration. I'm
Oh
out here.
wow, how cool!
Fair. Gary, what about you, man? Are you gonna stash this thing? You gonna put it on your wall, make a what is it, like an altar?
An effigy?
Yeah, an effigy
No,
altar.
no. I mean, I'm kind of with you guys on the fact that I could just really care less. Number one, but being the capitalist that I am, kind of like Bobby said, if it's something where I'm just scavenging and we're just going through stuff and we happen to go across and I go, oh my gosh, look at that! It is really shiny and gold.
Yep.
I might take it because, yeah, at some point, what do? I go, hey, I can trade this off for whatever I can get for it. So, yeah, I mean, if it doesn't put me out, if it's not something that I have to go and rescue or liberate, no, if I'm just going through an abandoned church or someplace and it's just sitting on the shelf, I'm like, oh, cool. And I can
Gold is gold, man. True.
I don't care about offending a Buddha if I'm just
Gold is gold, man.
So Gary's gonna
Now,
pretend
this is
he's a
very important.
Spaniard in South
it make
America in the 1800s. Okay,
My
so
man.
Does it make a
I got
cool
this.
sound when we break it? That's the
I'm
real
right there
question.
with you.
What's that, Will?
I said, does it make a cool sound when we smash it? Does it?
Yes.
It has to. It has to make a cool sound.
Yes.
Unless,
Hashtag pro-colonialism.
yes. Okay, so let's try to.
Will it save me from the Nazis?
That's your artifact on top. Thank you, Scott. That's what I was going with.
Yes, we have the right guests on tonight, gentlemen.
So if I find that artifact, I'm gonna be like, Bobby, no matter what you hear, don't look. Don't open your eyes. Close your eyes, Bobby.
Yeah, but my luck, after that, I'm going to hear a
No. He's like, why is my back warm? What did you? Oh man.
oh, pink guy.
Angels hear who sounded the trumpets.
Man, this just got weird, really weird.
Sorry.
Okay, all right. So here we go. Let's go with Kyle.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Kyle. You're living in a world without rule of law.
Okay.
The old world is gone and dead. It's passed away. You're living in the ashes of what was once this world. You are allowed to keep one item from your old life. Just one. Only one item from your past life. What is it? What are you taking
My Bible.
and why?
My Bible. Because it's my direct connection to God.
Badass.
Nothing else will matter in this world except for that one thing.
He's taking his sword. Okay, that's fair. Bobby?
That's a tough one.
I know.
One item from the past world.
Any one personal item. It can be a photo. It can be a squad operated machine gun you played with, a tow unit while you were infant, whatever, right? One item from your past. Any period in your past.
Man, almost everything in my current life is replaceable.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to take one item, it'd be my family.
No, no, you can't do that. It's got to be a
No,
tangible
okay,
thing.
a tangible thing.
Yeah.
One
Thing.
tangible thing.
An object.
I'm actually not.
Look, he's gonna bring his movie. Scott said,
I'm not overly attached to any one particular item I have. Everything is replaceable. Everything is replaceable. Damn.
That's a hard one.
I'm bringing my Whoopi.
If it's one thing, it has to be something to make fire. It has to be something to make fire because from fire comes everything else: shelter, water, food, warmth. It would have to be a fire making element. If I'm on the spot for one thing, it would be I don't know, a blast match or a Burt's Bees or the
little fire tube,
tube or something, some kind of fire or just a Bic lighter. To be completely honest, man, fuck all the ferro rods and all that stupid bushcraft shit. If I can not expend calories to do this and I can do it 100 times, I'm going to do this 100 times.
Everything is ashes, though. You've got char cloth. So
yeah, that's true. But if everything's ashes,
with a Whoopi
it anyway, you know. So yeah, I'm going to say a Bic lighter. That's my answer. A Bic lighter.
Gary, what are you bringing from your old life? One thing.
One. Yeah, I got some. You guys are talking about it, and I'm like, what is so meaningful that I'm gonna
Oh shit!
Linda.
Right.
Linda, listen, honey, listen.
Linda.
You're not listening to me. You're not listening to me.
Oh,
Actually, that's not a bad answer because
It's not a bad answer.
it's really bartable if you can separate the pages.
What was it,
Yeah,
like a
that's
Brass
true.
Beauty magazine or a girl? She's like I'm assuming.
I don't know, man. It's not my magazine. It's Linda's magazine.
Why are we asking you? I know, right? Gary, what are you gonna bring? What do you got? What are you running with?
Dang, that is a hard question. I guess the very first thing that popped in my mind I'm going with is actually, it's going to make sense, right? Bring my Colt Python because I love that gun and that has.
Are you sure you don't want Lucille?
Yeah. I already got that, but my Python just has some sentimental properties. So when I have it, it just, I don't know. I think about being 10 years old with my grandpa shooting at the river and watching Charlie and stuff. So I think that might be the thing that I take is my Colt. And then it doubles as my.
And not your anaconda because your anaconda don't want none unless it's got
Unless it's got buns, hun.
Man, we've gone from without the law to preppers after. Wait, it's the same event.
It's the same event. It's the same thing.
Come to the festival.
That's fair. That's fair, Gary. William, what are you going to bring from your old life, man? Oh, the Swiss Army knife, the quintessential MacGyver tool of the prepper world. All right, that's good. That's good.
My dad gave it to me. I've carried it since I was, I think, 12.
My man, that's even
Nice.
better. That's even better.
Although Kyle, your answer with the Bible was pretty good, but I'll find another one of those.
You said it first. We can't.
Yeah, we can't steal it.
Scott, what are you going to
But
bring,
no,
man?
yeah.
In reality, while I joke about my Whoopi,
Yeah.
Seeds. I would bring seeds
Yeah.
because fire, knives, guns, all of that is great and all of that will help. But if you don't have seeds, you don't have food. And in the end, all those other things that you have can get it for you, but at a cost.
That's true.
Whereas with seeds and a little bit of love and a little bit of time and effort, you can rebuild.
No.
Seeds are self-replicating. Freedom seeds are not.
Yeah.
That's true. Holy shit.
Well, unless you have will.
Scott just went from shoot him in the face to prepper philosopher. Do you see that?
I like it. This is what the Mandarin does, though.
Look, you need a hood over that beard, man.
I'll be back.
Listen, American people, I'm here.
Careful, wait, Scott, wait.
Yeah, right.
Oh God, he's getting up.
You have not
Oh
learned
God, are we about to get canceled?
the proper lesson, and I'm here to teach you.
What is Scott doing? I am so worried.
I hope
You
he
better
doesn't
have a
shoot
dump
me.
button.
Whitehood.
You better have a dub button for him.
Oh, he's probably got some cream corn.
Cream corn is for Satanists.
What Or that one lady that wants to fight you to the death, like she's in the Thunderdome over cream corn.
Dude, you can have the cream corn. Swear to God, lady, I just want to see my.
There he
cookie
goes.
Hey! It's Gandalf. Oh, never mind.
No,
Thank goodness it's red.
he's a Jedi. Knock it off.
Jesus. He's a boomer. Look at him.
He's Obi-Wan Scott. Now y'all knock it off.
Oh God, his knees are getting.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Damn. I like it, Scott. I think it makes you look wise.
Oh, here we go. Warrior philosophers. That's right.
That's right. Thank you, Linda or James or
Look,
whoever you might be.
Anyone can be a rifleman. If there's one thing that all of us guys who are former or prior military and law enforcement will tell you is anyone can pull a trigger. It takes thinking behind the trigger to make it worth anything.
Yeah.
If all you bring to the table is being a rifleman, you're pretty worthless.
Yeah, that's true.
So I got a couple more of these, and we're getting close to the top of the hour. We've been going for a little over an hour and a half. Let's wind it down. I got a couple more, and then we'll close out tonight, guys. So let's go back to resources. So I'm going to start with Will this time. Will, you discover a hidden stash of supplies. Do you share it with a group, or do you keep it for yourself?
Is it enough to actually be worth sharing?
It doesn't matter. You found a hidden stash of supplies.
Shit.
It could be one box of ho-hos, or it could be an entire truckload of ding-dongs.
Zombieland, get the Twinkie.
It could be a whole case of Trojans for all you know.
If it's so little, it's not worth sharing. It would cause so much dissent. It would almost just be
Yep.
worth taking it and handing it to the person in the most need.
Yep.
Or eating it.
Or eating it.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Listen, dude, I'm 26. I assume I'm not the person in the most need at this point, okay? I'm just going to throw that. I'm a 26-year-old male. I assume it's not me.
Right?
But if it's enough that we could, that actually it would benefit the group to know of it. Yeah, I'd share it with the group. But I think decision is purely based off whether or not it's going to cause dissent if I tell the group about this.
But if you snuck into your group and gave it to the person in most need, and it was found out that you did that, you just put your entire family at risk.
Potentially.
True. Scott, are you going to wear your robe at the festival? Are you going to walk around as like Gandalf the Grey?
You won't do it.
You won't do it.
Pussy.
You won't do it.
Pixar didn't happen, bro.
I wear my kilt to the festivals.
Okay, see, this is bad because I always put the camera right in front of your hooch, and you.
Matt, that's a yes. He's gonna wear his robes.
All right, you see what you did.
Precedent's been set. You can't walk it back now, Whitey.
All right, fine.
Whoa! Now we just got canceled. Gary, what about you, man?
Oh, I'm sharing with the group. I mean, without question, for me, I mean, that just kind of boils down to especially if I'm in charge, if I'm leader, I'm leading by example. I'm going to make sure that.
So you're going to share that one can of cream corn?
I'm taking it to the group. Yeah, they're going to get to share some cream corn. You know, everybody gets a spoon and everybody gets a bite. And Bobby's first.
Cream corn, I'm not sharing it. I'm giving it to the group.
You're so kind.
Barry, that's it though. I'm right there with you, man. Lead by example. You lead
by example.
Back.
Yep.
Yeah, I want people to see that
leader anytime.
I'm doing it.
Kyle, what about you? You gonna keep it? You gonna share it?
I'm sharing the cream.
I'm giving the cream away. You get some cream. You get some cream. I feel like
everybody gets a spoon. They can come get some cream.
I feel like I'm in the hallway in the movie Silence of the Lambs. We're all getting cream.
Here's the plane over the Potomac. Here comes the helicopter.
Oh no! Oh no, Mr. Bill! Oh no!
No, totally share.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll have to talk about that one, Bobby.
Yeah. Oh God, I gotta put my tinfoily hat on.
Man, we don't have it tonight.
Oh, you need to crank that shit down tight.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Share with the group for morality.
Yeah.
All the reasons. I mean, beyond the self-sacrifice, all those other things. I agree with you guys.
Yep.
Those are all great answers. Let's do one more.
I agree with you. They are great answers.
They have been great answers. You guys have been doing fantastic tonight. So this one's more back in the moral and ethical dilemma, especially since we know Gary has given us some really good answers.
Cop,
in terms of
cop,
behavior.
cop.
Well, it's because he has to because he's a cop. He has to be like, you
Yeah.
know,
He has to tell us, right?
Piece of
I have
peanuts.
to be
Gary.
morally gray.
Gary, just so you know, my safe word is pineapple.
I thought your safe word was stop. No.
Oh, okay, yeah. Puts the green corn on its skin or it gets the hose again.
Matt, wow.
This technology is amazing.
So let's start with you this time. Let's go with Bobby again.
Oh God.
We're going to close it out with you leading tonight.
Okay.
Bobby,
Don't give the number one answer.
do you believe people are inherently good or evil?
I believe people are inherently tilted bad. And I don't mean it's because they're evil. Evil is a separate thing from bad. You have net neutral, and then you have the 5% of society who go net good. And then you have 95% of society who start to go from this sliding towards evil, because this is easy. It's easy to be selfish. It's easy to be self-centered. It's easy to be an asshole. It's easy to take. It's easy to say no. It's not easy to say yes and do the hard thing. So I've always categorized society as, I call it the 90-6-4 rule. 4% of society is good. 6% of society is pure evil. 90% are followers. It's why you see on one hand the video of the one prison guard beating the ever-living shit out of a 100-pound girl in a cell while 10 dudes stand around doing nothing. He's pure evil. These 10 people are part of that 90%. But then you see the one guy, the cop, who goes out, takes his belt off and plays basketball with inner city kids. He's part of that 4%. And everyone watching that video is part of the 90%. So it's 90-6-4. And I will always say it's not 5-5, it's 6-4, because bad tends to win over good, because it's just easy. It's the easy answer. It's easy to do the wrong thing.
The walking man.
You don't have to teach children to do the right thing. You have to teach them to wipe their ass. You have to teach them to obey. You have to teach them to do their chores. You have to teach them. You don't have to teach anyone to be lazy and self-centered. And so I will say people skew negative. Just at the base level. It takes discipline. It takes faith. It takes morality. It takes a fundamental foundation of good stuff to get into that 4%. And then it's a battle for the rest of your life to stay there. It is very easy to slip into that 90% where most people sit comfortably, barely leaving a bubble in their wake, having no impact on society at all.
So you don't believe necessarily that people are inherently good or evil, that the majority of people are inherently lazy.
I think most people are not inherently good, but I don't believe they're pure evil. I think they're on that 90% scale leading towards bad.
Yeah, that's the majority of people. That's fair. Yeah. That's a fair answer. Gary, what about you, man? In your encounters as a Leo and like your travels around the globe, you've seen a lot of weird shit. Are the people that you've encountered inherently good or evil?
You know, based on my experience, Bobby's not wrong. He kind of nailed it on the percentage and what you see and what I've seen very much reflects that. I've often said that in dealing with the people that I deal with, especially in the very small world that I work in high school, we've got about 1 to 3% of the population who is just bad, right? Yeah. They are just bad. They cause 95% of the problems. So in a school of 800 people, you know, we really and truly have probably about 20 kids who are bad. They're the prison population. They're the evil ones. And then we have, you know, very slim margin, like you said, of the good kids, and everybody else falls in between. I mean, he's kind of nailed it, Bobby, again. And I have seen that with my own eyes, and I do agree that most people tend to do negative stuff. Yeah, I hesitate to call people evil as well. Yeah, but it's definitely easier to just be a bystander and not do anything positive.
It's fair. Well, what about you? How are you going to classify that? Do you believe people are, in your line of work, in your experiences, do you believe people are inherently good or evil?
I think people are inherently selfish.
Yep.
But are they good or evil?
I think selfish falls in line with bad, and I think people are inherently sinful, and I think sinful falls in line with evil. I think that at the end of the day, the effort that it takes to not be selfish and to not be sinful, to do the thing that's more difficult, morally upright, and intrinsically helping others, because it takes effort, is not natural, and thus it's less likely. So I'd say inherently, it's to boil it down to good or evil. I'd say, yeah, tilting evil. Yeah, people are inherently evil to a certain extent. I wouldn't say that means that every interaction I assume the person that I'm interacting with is evil. I think that's a really poor way to look at the world.
You bet. Very nihilistic. You bet.
I think that, but you have to understand that even though to a certain extent that action may be understandable, people lean towards being selfish and doing the easy thing.
Yeah, I like it. Good answer. Scott, are people inherently evil or good?
I don't know if I would call them inherently evil. I think that most people are self-centered, self-serving, greedy. I don't know if I would necessarily call that evil. I think it would be more leaning towards self-perseverance. We say somebody's greedy for wanting more than what we consider they deserve, but who are we to say what they deserve? I hesitate to call people randomly. I hesitate to call people evil. Are there evil people? Most definitely. I disagree with Bobby on the split. I think we're probably more in the realm of 20% of the people that are actually truly evil. Probably 10% of the people that are truly good, and everybody else just kind of falls in the middle of that. They can be drawn either way. So I think for anybody to truly understand the population, I think all you need to do is work retail.
Yeah.
You really want to understand this world?
I figured you'd have a very unique outlook on it.
I see it every day.
Yeah.
We've run into a number of people that I've asked to never come back. And we've got great customers, and everybody else kind of falls into the middle. I love my customers, but we have those people. There's a reason why we had a porta-john at the old store.
Right.
Because I wanted somebody else cleaning up after the masses.
Yeah.
I love our customers. We've got a great foundation, but there are people that literally just don't care about anybody else around them. They're the people that will take their plug of tobacco out and throw it in a urinal.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize or don't care that some poor bastard has to go in there and pick it out by hand.
Yeah.
To me, is that evil? I don't know if that's evil, but it definitely leans that way.
Yeah.
Complacently bad.
Complacent. That I will agree with that. Complacently bad.
Yep.
I don't think they're necessarily evil. I think there's a good 10% minimum of the population that is truly evil. I think that most people want to be good. I think that the majority of people want to be good. They just don't know how to be good because they were never brought up with it.
Yeah.
They don't understand it. They were never brought up with it. They never had any kind of basis to understand what good is.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel that evil falls into two categories. You have, realistically, in my opinion, you have the inherently evil people who are just rotten bastards. You know, like
Just
Gary
born to
said,
be evil.
they were born to be evil.
Yeah.
There's something broken and fucked up inside of them that causes them to choose that weaker, easier, lesser version of themselves path of just true evil. And then you have the ignorantly evil, people that do evil deeds without realizing they're evil because they're dumb, or because they don't believe in good and evil, or because they don't see the difference between the black and white nature of good choices versus bad choices. They live in a world of neutrality where that doesn't exist. And so they're by default ignorant evil.
Yeah. Yep. That 90% skews that way just because it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah.
And people pick what's easy. People pick what doesn't cause conflict in their life. Most people want to avoid conflict. Even bad people want to avoid conflict. It's why they break into your house when you're not home.
Yeah.
It's why they rob, an ATM at 3 a.m. because they don't.
Easy target. Yeah.
Even if they want to do something bad, they're going to do it when there's the least resistance, because most people are cowardly and selfish.
Yeah.
So yeah, it skews that way.
Kyle?
I'm going to give more of a biblical answer for this.
Yeah, break it down.
So it's a human inclination to try to apply grades of evil.
Levels, different shades.
Levels of evil, because none of us want to suffer the consequences of our own sin. The Bible does not distinguish between good and evil and those who don't know, and therefore they're not evil. It says we're made in God's image. We're born into a fallen world, into a sin-filled world. Therefore, by default, at birth, we are evil. We are sinful and we are evil. Just to your point, you don't have to teach a baby to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
If you let them run their natural course with no instruction, they're in the prison. They're in the system. They're the evil ones by default. You have to teach them good. So I think by default, all of us are evil, just to varying degrees. It doesn't matter. It's good and it's evil. If we're following Christ, if we're trying to be more Christ-like and we have given our lives to him, we're on that path, but that does not necessarily negate our evil nature, our sin.
Yeah.
We're all evil by default.
That's fair. That's fair.
We have to fight to be different.
Your default programming is sin.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. Daniel Strong in the comments put a nice little comment out there. I agree with you, Daniel. I think most people tend to lean toward that chaotic neutral. If you're an old D&D guy, or you follow that stuff back in the day, you had these different shades of, chaotic neutral, chaotic evil, right? But I think chaotic neutral really fits the vast majority of the population that 90% like Spags alluded to. So yeah, these are all fantastic answers. And so again, leading into the top of the evening, I think we'll leave it right there. Right.
Bonus question.
Oh, bonus.
Okay. In that D&D realm, you have neutral, chaotic, and lawful.
Mm-hmm.
Lawful good, chaotic good, neutral good, or chaotic, neutral, lawful for good and evil. What are you?
Ooh, that's a great one. Yeah.
I know where I fall. I am chaotic good.
Okay.
I am not lawful good. I am chaotic good.
Yeah.
What are all of you?
That's fair. What's your morality in the D&D world? Gary, what are you? You a chaotic neutral guy?
I don't really even know, because I don't even,
Guys.
I guess.
So to break it down easily, you have lawful, neutral, and evil. You have good, neutral, evil. You have chaotic, and then you have
Neutral
on the other ends of those spectrums.
lawful.
So you have from good to neutral to evil this way, and then you have chaotic to lawful. Lawful good would be your cops, your military, your judges, people like that. Chaotic good would be like Han Solo, right? He's not really bad, but he's a good guy. He works for the good guys, but he's also like me. I'm an anarchist, so I would be considered chaotic good. I fight for good things, but I don't necessarily use the realm of law to do it. A chaotic bad guy would be like your raider, your pirate. Your lawful bad guy would be George Soros, using the effigy of the law to do evil shit. And then you have your neutral right in the center. So where would you be?
What
Would
is
you?
the neutral?
Based on my
Yeah, so
career.
neutral is you live a life
there
of
you
no.
There you go. You know, I
Here's
guess.
your matrix, Gary.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm in between the good and the neutral on the lawful side. So I mean, I don't tend to go all the way good because I know the nature of people. And you're right. Given my own devices, boy, I'd be out there cracking heads. You know, if I didn't have rules, I'd probably be doing some bad stuff. I mean, if I had my own way, right? Yeah, if I had my own way, boy, I'd be out there doing some bad things based on my skill set, the fact that I can and I have the ability and I know I do. Boy, I'd be out there causing problems.
Gary, I feel you, man. You have to be
You know.
self-tempered in your abilities. That's a fantastic answer.
So,
Scott.
Scott. Yeah, go ahead, Scott. Come on.
Chaotic neutral.
Chaotic
neutral.
That sounds
All
about
right.
right. I can
All
see
right.
that.
Will.
Chaotic, good, leaning, lawful.
Okay.
I'd say.
Kyle.
I lean chaotic neutral to good neutral. I'm sorry, good.
Chaotic good.
Chaotic good to chaotic neutral, somewhere within that plane.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How about you, Pat?
I definitely fall into that neutral good category. I think you knew that, though. I tend to stay in that space.
What are you, chaotic or lawful?
So I would be neutral. So on the good side, I'd be between lawful and chaotic. You have the neutral as well. I don't know that I'm lawful nor am I chaotic because, like Gary, I grew up in a different world where it was survival of the fittest, and that I understand the abilities I'm capable of. Of inflicting or doing or carrying myself with, and so in that realm or that spectrum, you kind of have to fill in the blanks of what really is it that I'm capable of versus what I want to do if I were just unleashed in a world without rule of law, right? And so processing that to the ability of saying, would I be evil, chaotic, or would I be just straight out lawful and good? I don't think I could categorize myself as either one of those. I'm probably in the good neutral category.
Fantastic show, folks. This might have been our most fiery one yet.
Yes. Thank you, guys. We are super grateful for everyone coming out tonight. Thank you for supporting the cause. We look forward to seeing everyone at the Midwest Preparedness Project Festival. When is it, Bobby?
May 6th through May 11th, you will get to see everybody on this screen will likely be there between May 6th and 11th. Scott will be there vending. He sponsors us. Gary will be there. He sponsors us.
We got some cool shit.
Will will be there. He sponsors us. Kyle will be there. He's our operations manager. Patrick and I will be there throwing up tents, doing stage work. See everybody in real life that you saw tonight on the internet, and you will find out every dude in this panel tonight is exactly the way in real life that you saw them on the screen. There's no pretense. There's no bullshit. There's no mask. These are real people. Come see us May 6th through May 11th at Bloomington West Campground, Clinton Lake, just in between Lawrence and Topeka, Kansas, for the Midwest Preparedness Project Spring 2025 Festival.
Yes.
Until then,
Love y'all.
don't just shoot them in the face.
That's it. That's it. Thank you all. Shoot him. Gary says, shoot him in. Wolfman's got nards. Shoot him in the
Shoot them in
nards.
the face and eat them.
Thank you all for coming out. Gary, Scott, don't leave. We want to talk to you guys afterwards. But everyone have a wonderful night.
For those of you who don't know, go to our website, MidwestPreparednessProject.com, and you can pick up your own deck of WROL cards. You can also go to WROLcards.com.
Yep.
Link is in the description to get your own deck of cards. There's, I think, 200 cards in this deck. There's 20 decks with 10
And
cards.
Lord, they will make you think.
They
That's
will
right.
make you think. It'll challenge everything you thought you know, and it'll lead to fantastic conversations about nuts and cream corn, just like you had tonight.
That's right. That's right. Thank you all for coming. Have a wonderful night. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Have a good night, folks.
See you guys.